Yo, welcome in everybody, and today we're starting off with a question actually. How many COD pros are under the age of 20? So 19 or 18. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Did you guess 7? Because that is the right answer. And today we're going over the 10 youngest Call of Duty pros in the Call of Duty League. And so it's really interesting actually. I hadn't really gone through this before and looking through who some of these youngest players are, and it was surprising to say the least. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this video because I definitely enjoyed going through it as well. So without further ado, let's start off here at number 10. So first of all, to have even qualified for this list, you had to have at least played significant time last year in the CDL or are going to be playing in the CDL this year to be qualified for this list, all right? So that's kind of how we're going off of this. So at number 10 is a player that we just talked about in the breakout episode yesterday, and that is none other than Afro on the London Royal Ravens. He has a birthday on July 19th, 2001, which makes him 20 years, 2 months, and 5 days old because we're recording this on September 24th. So overall, Afro is an absolute beast, obviously. And you can go check out the breakouts episode if you want to hear more about him. But he's a unit. Spoiler, but there's a lot more guys on this list that were on that breakouts episode yesterday as well. So there's a lot of good stuff in that video. I highly recommend going and check it out for sure. So he's at number 10. At number 9 is a player who is just joining the CDL. This is going to be his first year, but he's been dominating in the Australian APAC scene for a long time, and that is Pred. Also a player we may have talked about yesterday in the breakouts episode, but his birthday is August 19th, 2001. So that makes him 20 years, 1 month, and 5 days old. Pred is one of the rising stars in the CDL, a guy who has so many chances to be a beast next year. And we're going to have to see what he can do on the Seattle Surge with that roster, of course, this year. So at number 8 is a player who currently isn't in the CDL or isn't looking like he's going to get a spot this year, but he definitely contributed to the LA Thieves last year. And that is Venom. His birthday is on August 27th, 2001. So that makes him 20 years and 28 days old. And again, a player who showed a ton of promise last year. And it wouldn't be surprising if he ends up getting a spot on either the Chicago spot, which sounds like it might be getting sold to the Washington Overwatch team, or on the Paris Legion when they announce their rosters. But Venom's a really, really good player. He's clocking in at just over 20 years old at number 8. So at number 7, not only is it our first 19-year-old on the list, because you guys answered that question right earlier, of course, but it's also our first and only Call of Duty champion on the list. And that is Illey. Illey was born on October 20th, 2001. So that makes him 19 years, 11 months, and 4 days old. And that means he won COD Champs as an 18-year-old in the CDL, which is wild in itself. Of course, we all know Illey is really, really, really good at Call of Duty. And heading into next year with that rumored Optic Dallas roster, I mean, Illey has every opportunity to be unbelievable once again, for sure. So at number 6 now, a player who joined the CDL as an 18-year-old last year. And that is Mac for the now Seattle Surge, formerly for the New York Subliners. Mac was born on November 21st, 2001. That makes him 19 years, 10 months, and 3 days old. And Mac is a really, really, really great player as well. And, there's probably pretty high odds that end up ranking all of these guys at some point, considering that'd be a pretty good video, I think. But Mac at number 6, he's a unit for sure. So now into the top 5. So there was a little bit tough stuff here because there's 2 guys on these lists that are really, really interesting. At number 5 is a player who's rumored to be in the CDL next year, and that's why I included him on this list. He's rumored to be a part of that London Royal Ravens roster, and that's Gizmo. Coming in at 19 years old, born on December 5th, 2001, 19 years, 9 months, and 19 days old to be exact. Main AR, hopefully, for the London Royal Ravens. And he shows so much promise as a player with a lot of untapped potential, a lot of upside. And I'm really, really excited to see what he can bring to the table on that London squad heading into next year, hopefully. So at number 4 now is none other than another London Royal Ravens player. But we'll see what happens to him next year. Right now, he's not rumored to be on any of the rosters, but it seems pretty likely that PaulX could end up on one of those 2 remaining rosters for sure. Paul was born on January 21st, 2002. So he's our first 2002 player on the list. And he is 19 years, 9 months, and 19 days old. And Paul was really good with London last year. He showed a ton of promise, especially in Search and Destroy. And just a really solid player. I think he deserves a chance again here in the CDL to see what he can do with another roster. A roster that had a little bit more coherent time to actually build and improve, unlike the London team last year that was basically chalked halfway through the year. So overall, Paul's great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the CDL for sure. So now we are inside our top freaking 3, baby. So coming in at number 3 is a player who is going to make his debut in the CDL with the Seattle Surge this year. A player who's been signed as a substitute for a CDL team the past year and a half, and that is Sib. Sib, of course, another player who was on that breakout show yesterday, but he was born on February 3rd, 2002. So he is still got a little bit of ways to go before he turns 20, and he'll probably still be 19 when the year begins. Hopefully we have an event before February at this point. And he's 19 years, 7 months, and 21 days old. And again, man, he's so good. I mean, I cannot wait to see what he can do in the CDL. As long as he can kind of mature and act like a professional, he's going to be very good in the CDL. And I'm very much looking forward to see what type of damage he can do with his other youthful teammates who are all on this list. Pred and Mac were both on this list, paired with Accuracy, a veteran, and a veteran coach in Phoenix. I mean, who knows what this youthful, high upside Seattle Surge team could potentially do together. It's a lot of fun, man. So now our top 2. And I would imagine you guys might know who these guys are. But coming in at number 2 is, I mean, one of the best players in the CDL here on the list. And he came in for the New York Subliners last year and immediately took over the French phenom himself, Hydra, coming in at number 2. He was born on February 11th, 2002. So he's just like 8 days older than Sib. He's 19 years, 7 months, and 13 days old. And I mean, come on, man. He's one of the best players in the CDL. I have him in my top 10 for sure throughout Cold War. He was so impactful for the Subliners. You couldn't ask for a more impressive first season in the league than Hydra had. So overall, just unbelievable. Obviously, really looking forward to seeing what he can do with the New York Subliners this year. And speaking of the New York Subliners, at number 1, we have his rumored SMG duo, Hydra's rumored SMG duo at number 1. Currently the youngest player in the CDL, and that's Neptune. Born on April 9th, 2002. He's 19 years, 5 months, and 15 days old. And I mean, I was shocked, that one of those guys isn't 18. I thought that like one of those guys might still be 18. So currently we have no 18-year-olds in the CDL. So that'll be interesting to see what ends up happening over the course of this year, if any 18-year-olds end up coming into the CDL. But obviously Neptune last year was an 18-year-old when he started playing in the CDL. I mean, he only turned 19 in April. For a while there, he was an 18-year-old playing during Cold War. And obviously he had a very good year. And it's rumored that he's going to be joining the New York Subliners with Hydra. So not only will they be an elite SMG duo in a CDL, they'll be by far the youngest SMG duo in the CDL. And it's not really close because the next closest would have been Mac and Pred on the Seattle Surge. So overall, I mean, Neptune and Hydra have a ton of time, to get really good. They have a lot of upside potential in youth, and pairing with Clay and Krim on that team is going to be scary. And that caps off our top 10 youngest COD pros. So obviously I'll be ranking a lot of these guys here in a little while as like ranking the youngest COD pros. Some on those lines coming up here in the next few days. So be on the lookout for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you guys really enjoyed it. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to do this full time, and I cannot do that without you guys. So I always appreciate any of the support. But as always, guys, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and guys, we will see you next time. I'm out.